Okay, the first thing we want to do is get out your daily skills practice sheets. And we're going to turn it to the back and find Thursday's problem. Okay, who can tell me what goes in number 1 under the statement on our daily skills practice sheet? What's the first thing we're going to write?
The problem.
The problem, okay, which is what?
X over 5 plus 9 equals 12.
Okay, so write that on your sheet. X over 5 plus 9 equals 12. Dawson, can you tell me the reason why we wrote that in number 1? What are we going to put as the one reason?
Because it's the given.
It's the given. Good. So x over 5 plus 9 equals 12. That is the given in that equation. Now, what do we do next? Andres, what do we do next?
We minus 9 both sides.
Minus 9 from both sides. Okay. Why do we minus 9 from both sides?
Because we want you to get the x by itself.
Okay. And what is that reason called?
Subtraction.
Right, the subtraction property. Okay, so make sure you get that written down. So once we do that, what are we left with? X over 5, right? The 9's cancel out, equals what? What's 12 minus 9? 3. Okay, so we're left with, after the subtraction property, we're left with x over 5 equals 3. Now, what's the next step, the final step, before we solve? Damon?
Now we gotta get rid of the 5 that's below the x
Okay, so how do we do that?
by multiplying.
Yeah, by multiplying, right? Why do we multiply?
Because it's a division.
It's a division problem, good. Okay? And why are we doing that? What's the reason?
To get x by itself.
Okay, and what property is that?
Multiplication.
Multiplication property. So we have our 3 reasons, so we multiply each side by 5, leaves us with x, and what's 3 times 5, Dawson?
15.
15. So x is equal to 15. Okay, good. Any questions on that? Feel like we got a good understanding of that? Yeah, for sure, right? Okay, let's now get out your daily review sheet. Get that out in front of you, and we're going to be on day 4 of our daily review sheet. And we're going to go through these together. We have 5 problems, so just like with the skills practice, okay? First one is 36 divided by C equals 4. What's something we can do right away? We could rewrite that problem, right? To look a little better.
Doesn't matter which way the c is.
Whether it's on the top or the bottom?
Yeah.
It's a good question. What do we think? Does it matter where we put the C?
No.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay? If we put it on the top, it completely changes the problem, okay? So we have to write it just as it says. 36 divided by C equals 4, okay? So since it's written that way, it's a good question though, okay? So now that we have that, what's next?
Multiply 36 both sides.
Okay? You're on the right track.
Times c.
Okay, why C?
Because to get 36 by itself, but if you divide times 36 to 4, it'd be equal.
So like that, right? We have to multiply by that bottom number of the fraction, which in this case is not a number, is it? What's the C called? What term do we use for the letter C? What do we call that? Any letter. Right, it's a variable. Good. Okay? So we're going to multiply both sides by the variable of C. Okay? So this allows this to cancel out, right? Leaves us with just 36 equals, what's 4 times C?
4C.
Right, 4C. All right, that looks more like an algebra problem, right? Now what are we going to do?
Divide
Divide.
36 by 4.
Okay, we're going to divide both sides by 4. This is a multiplication problem, right? 4 times C equals 36. So we have to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. 4's cancel out, leaves us with C. What does C equal? What's 36, Dawson?
9.
9. Okay, so make sure you have that on your paper. Make sure you have that filled out. Any questions on that? No. Okay, let's go down to the next one. The problem says A times 8 equals 32. Okay, so what are we going to do here?
Times 8 and
Okay, so we're going to multiply both sides by 8. What's the problem asking us? What times 8 equals 32, right? Okay, so that's a multiplication problem. What's the opposite of multiplication?
Division.
Division. We want the A on one side and all the numbers on the other, correct?
So A.
So what do we, what's that?
A over 8.
Okay, so we're going to divide by 8, right? That'll leave the A by itself. Will it not? Yeah. Okay, so the 8's cancel out, leaves us with what? A. What's 32 divided by 8? Dawson?
4.
4. If we go back and check ourselves, if we put 4 in for A, does 4 times 8 equal 32? Yeah, it does. So then we know we're right? We know we got it correct. Okay. Third one. 3A minus 9A. How are we going to solve that?
You just subtract 3A and 9A.
Okay, so we're just dealing with those two numbers, right? We're not doing anything extra. So if we have 3A and we take away 9A, what are we going to end up with?
Negative 6A.
Negative 6A? Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Why is it a negative?
Because the 9's bigger than the 3.
Right, exactly. I like that. Is that when whatever symbol is in front of the biggest number, that's what your answer is going to be. In this case, 9 is the biggest number and it's a negative, so we know our answer is going to be negative. Okay, so good. Sometimes that can be tough, can't it? We got to go backwards and go into negative numbers. Okay, so make sure you get negative 6A written on your paper. The fourth problem. A little more work here, isn't it? Yeah, PEMDAS, exactly. So according to PEMDAS, what's the first thing we do? What's the P? Parentheses, right. Okay? So what are we going to do with those parentheses? Are we going to subtract 6 from P?
Multiplication.
We're going to multiply. Why?
To distribute.
Right, okay? So we got to do what's inside of that parentheses. We got to multiply the parentheses by 6. So we can start by just rewriting all this, right? So what is 6 times P?
6P.
Okay? And it's a positive, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So we do here. Now we got to do 6 times a negative 6. A negative 36. Okay. So are we done with that part of it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Now what are we going to do?
Addition.
Okay. We're going to combine all the like terms, right? Everything that's the same we're going to combine together. So if we do 6P, and is there any other P's?
3P.
The 3, okay? So we know we're going to have to combine them, okay? And we have just plain numbers, right? A negative 36 and a plus 4. So let's combine the P's first. What's 3P plus 6P?
9P.
Okay, 9P. So make sure you get that written down. And is it a positive or negative?
Positive.
It is positive because both numbers are positive. Now we have a 4 and a negative 36.
Negative 32.
Negative 32. Everybody agree with that? Agree with them that it's negative 32? Now what do we do? Why?
Because there's no equal sign.
Right, we're not solving for anything, right? We don't know what P is. Somebody would have to tell us what that is, and then we could fill that in and solve. So good, yeah, we're done right there. Good. All right, so everybody got that written down?
Yep.
Okay, good. Let's go on to the last one, our story problem. Okay, so you have to listen. On Monday, 289 students went on a trip to the zoo. All 6 buses were filled, and 7 had to travel in a car. How many students were on each bus? So let's set up our math equation. What's it going to look like? What do we need to do first? Aaron?
Get that amount of students that are on buses, so it'll be 7 plus 6b equals 289.
So you're going to write it, repeat that to me again.
So if we do that, you'll be subtracting 7 to 289.
Okay, so let's do that first, right? Why are we going to subtract 7 from 289?
Because that's the students that didn't go.
Right, so there was 289 kids, right? But 7 of them had to go in the school van. So now we have to find out exactly how many are going to ride the buses. And we know that that ends up being 282, right? Yes.
So then you would divide it by 6 because it says there were 6 buses.
Okay, so now this is the total number of students on the bus, right? Correct. And so now we have 6 buses, and there's 282 kids on those buses. Okay, I agree with that. Now what? What's 282 divided by 6? 6 goes into 28.
47.
47.
Okay, 47. So we'll go 24. We'll do our long division. So there's 47 kids. Where?
On the bus.
Yeah, on each bus has 47 kids. Okay, good. Good job. Make sure you get those written down on your paper, okay, so that you can get credit for that. Any questions on these 5 problems? Everybody's good?
Well, I see there was multiple ways of doing the problems on each one.
For sure. That's a nice thing about math, right? Maybe this way makes sense to me, but then there's another way I can also do it. I still come up with the same answer, and that works better for me. That's the great thing about math, is sometimes there's multiple ways to do problems, so it's just what works best for you, how you like it. Yeah, some people may not, this is the way they want to write a division problem. Maybe this is the way they want to write a division problem. It's all up to each person, and that's the great thing about math. But no, that's a great point to bring that up. Definitely a great point. Okay, any other questions? Okay, why don't you go ahead and put that away and get out your mug paper for today. Your mug shot grammar paper. We're going to switch gears now. We're going to go from doing some math to now we're going to be working on some grammar. Okay, so you follow along while I read this to you, and then we're going to correct if there's anything that we need to correct. Okay, maybe this one's a trick and there's really nothing to fix. Okay, so the first sentence says the cracked windshield along with the ripped upholstery and rusty body made Eric's car near impossible to sail. Okay? Are there mistakes in this sentence? Damien?
Spelling.
Okay, where's the spelling error at?
The sale.
Sail, okay? So what should it be?
S-A-L.
Dawson?
S-A-I-L.
No, that would be like the sail on a boat. What is it, Damien?
S-E-L-L.
Right. Okay, so let's change that to S-E-L-L. Okay, good. That's the first one. Anything else? There's one, I'll give you a hint. There's one more misspelled word and it's really big. It should be easy to see through. Upholstery? No. I know that's a tough one. I don't see that word very often. Dawson?
Windshield.
Okay, windshield. What needs to be